Hello friends, in this video I will be discussing about certain basics about GST. What is GST, what is the background of GST, what are the types of GST and like that. So friends, let's get started. Before proceeding straight away to GST, let us first understand what is tax. Tax means the revenue of the government collected from the citizen of India. Means the government collects the taxes from the citizen of India, from us, from the consumers, from all of us, and hence it is a mandatory levy, that is compulsory to pay. Now the question arises whether government can collect the tax. The answer is yes. Next, the second question is, can the government can collect any tax? The answer is no. Article 265 of the Indian Constitution specifically mentioned that no tax shall be levied or collected except by the authority of law. So if the government wants to collect any tax, then it has to make a law. And by making law, the government can collect the taxes. Next, what are the types of taxes? We have two types of taxes in India. We have direct tax, we have indirect tax. Direct tax means the tax which is directly collected from the final taxpayer, which means the final consumer will directly pay the direct tax to the government, straight away to the government, no middleman. And for example, it is income tax. Now the second tax is the indirect tax. Indirect tax means the tax which is indirectly collected from the final taxpayer. Means the final consumer will pay tax to his vendor or supplier, and then the supplier will pay the tax ultimately to the government. So it's an indirectly collected from the final consumer. That is indirect tax. Example is GST. Before GST, we have service tax, we have VAT. They are the examples of it. Before the introduction of GST, we have excise duty, we have service tax, we have CST, we have VAT, we have luxury tax, we have entry tax. So many khichdi of many taxes we have. Now, after the introduction of GST, all these taxes have been subsumed. Subsumed means all these taxes have been removed and now only GST will be levied. In some products, the earlier taxes will also be levied, but majorly in all the products, GST will be levied. In July 2017, from 1st July 2017, Modi government has brought one nation, one tax. He called it a good and simple tax. Is it good? Is it simple? Let us understand in the next part. So now we will discuss about what is the background before GST. What are the taxes? Why there was so problem? Or what are the measures which have been taken to bring the GST? As discussed, GST was introduced in July 2017. The subject matter of laws with respect to taxation or non-taxation have been segregated in Article 246 of the Indian Constitution. Means the Article 246 of the Indian Constitution specifically mention the powers with respect to taxation, non-taxation, powers to levy taxation or non-taxation matters, and to make laws by central, state government or concurrently by them, or the concurrent list. In Article 246, we have three lists: central list, state list, and concurrent list. In central list, the central government can levy the taxes or non-taxes, can make the laws with respect to taxes or non-taxes. The central government has the power in the central list. In the state list, the state government has the power, and in the concurrent, both has the power to levy to make the laws, you can say. But in Article 246, there is no concurrent power given to levy GST by both the central and the state government. Means both center and state cannot levy the GST at the same time. So for that, the constitution was amended and the Article 246A was introduced in the Indian Constitution, and that provides the authority of law to levy taxes concurrently by center as well as by the state government. There were so many problems before the GST. There were many taxes, as discussed, many compliances, many taxable events, many provision. Taxable event means the event which when triggered, so we have to pay the tax at that point. Main problem was also the cascading effect. For example, if a trader purchases a goods from a manufacturer, so manufacturer has levied the taxes excise duty on the product, but the trader cannot claim the credit of that excise duty because he is not registered under Excise Act, and that credit which he does not get, he will add that credit to the cost of the product, and that is the cascading effect, that the credit which he does not get will be added to the product and the final consumer will pay the taxes, many taxes as such. So like that, there were many such problems which were there. So these have been reduced to a greater extent in GST. Now let us understand what is GST. GST is a goods and services tax. It's a tax on supply of goods or services or both. So the taxable event is supply. So when the taxable event, that is supply, is triggered, when there is a supply of goods or services or both, then GST will be payable. It is concurrently levied by both center and state government. So center and state government both levy the GST at the same time. Article 366(12)(a) of the Indian Constitution defines GST. It defines that any tax on supply of goods or services or both, except taxes on supply of alcoholic liquor for human consumption. So means whenever there is a supply of goods or services or both, then GST will be levied. But supply of alcoholic liquor for human consumption, it is a state subject, so only state tax will be levied. No GST will be levied on that. Now let us see the basic features of GST. GST is an indirect tax. It's a tax on supply of goods or services or both. It is a consumption tax, means tax is ultimately borne by consumers and not the suppliers. Suppliers, being the business entity, only collect taxes, and it acts as a collector of tax for the government. For example, if a supplier is in Delhi and the recipient consumer is in the Maharashtra, then the Maharashtra government will levy the taxes, consumption taxes, where the consumption is there, consumption in that state. It's a value added tax, means tax on final consumption. It's a destination based tax, means the origin entity will not tax the transaction. For example, if we import certain products from USA, then USA government will not tax it. Origin entity will not tax it. The Indian government entity will tax the transaction import. Likewise, in export, the foreign government will tax the transaction. India will not tax the transaction. Now let us understand the components of GST. We have two components of GST. First is intrastate. Intrastate means within the same state or within the same union territory. Means the recipient and the supplier are both in the Delhi, for example, or both are in Maharashtra. So they are in same state or same union territory. Then CGST or SGST will be levied. And for example, in restaurant, you see the bill is there, CGST and SGST both is levied. The second is the interstate. Interstate means within two state or two union territories, or in a state and a union territory. For example, now the Ladakh is a union territory without legislature, so it's a union territory under GST, and the supplier is in the Ladakh and the recipient is in Maharashtra. So supplier is in Ladakh and recipient in the Maharashtra, then IGST will be levied. So, and the CGST is 9%. For example, CGST is 9%, SGST is 9%, then IGST will be 18%. CGST will, central GST will go to center, SGST, state GST will go to state, and IGST will be segregated between the center and the state. So that's it from my side. If you have any questions regarding the basic of GST components, then you can post your query in the comment section of this video and I will be happy to answer. So thank you friends for watching. If you like the video, please like, share and subscribe to the channel for more updates. Thank you, Jai Hind, and have a nice day.